And now 30 at 6, we have what we want to call a prequel to the story that's coming up with our own Mike Collins. Mike.
Good to see you again, Rob.
Always good to see you. So, we're always looking for inspirational and interesting people, stories.
Absolutely.
Even pets.
Yeah.
How did you come about this one?
Tuesday afternoon, I get a call from my neighbor. There's a missing dog. I look up my driveway and there's the dog that's missing. Would it come to me? No. But the ending of the story is just great. And I think it's something that our viewers are going to really enjoy hearing about.
Especially since there was a community dragnet.
Huge community effort to find this dog. Absolutely. And anybody that has a feel-good story like this one should contact Cecil TV at info@cecil.tv.
I think that's a great idea.
Absolutely. Are you ready to meet these folks?
All ears.
And the dog?
Yes.
Great.
Thanks, Mike.
You bet.
Thanks for all you do.
Yeah.
And now, Cecil County and the world. Let's welcome the Hurleys, Sarah and Bryant, and the star of the show, Ceci, half bloodhound and half lab.
Yes.
And glad to be back home.
Absolutely.
Tell us what happened.
You want to go ahead?
So we were on vacation in the Outer Banks, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. We went down on Saturday, and Sunday night around 11 o'clock, we got a little bit of an alarming phone call from Bryant's sister saying that Ceci was lost. So our first instinct is to just get home and try to figure out what was going on, but we have incredible family and friends up home that started the search for her immediately, and we went home the next morning. I know.
And Sarah, this is the community dragnet that we had talked about earlier.
Yep.
How did that all get organized?
The first thing that popped up was his sister-in-law made a Facebook post to the Cecil animal pages and on her personal Facebook, and that really is what got things rolling. There were 750 shares on that. And also we have really great family and friends. His mom, I think, called 2 people, and that turned into 20. And they're out there searching in the fields that they thought that she was in. And they saw her, but she was in flight mode. So that means that even if we were there, she wouldn't have came to us.
And she was lost, or she fell out of the vehicle, right?
Yes.
In kind of a wooded, farmy type area?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was on Warburton Road. It's pretty rural. There's a lot of farms right through there, and there was an Amish farm across from where she was. So, and pretty much woods and a creek.
Right.
So throughout the whole process, she basically stayed right where there was water.
Yeah, I was
so
gonna
right
say,
around the
it's a good thing she
Northeast
had
Creek.
water, yeah.
Yep. So, so basically, they searched for her that Sunday night, and she was spotted. So we were a little bit more at ease. So, like I said, we came home on Monday. We, with the help of family and friends, we printed flyers, put them in mailboxes all around the area. We drove those roads, I don't know how many times. I found neighborhoods I didn't even know were back there. But it was absolutely amazing how everyone that we spoke to was like, oh my goodness, yes, we'll help you. We'll help you find your dog, and we'll keep our eye out. And so basically Facebook is kind of what got all that started, and our family and friends. So on later Monday night, we, through a friend of a friend, got connected with Stephanie, who is a dog tracker. She came and kind of gave us some information about what we should do. We kind of started out, she said, do flyers and things like that. So we had already started that process. And basically, she gave us some information that we did not know, that when they're in flight mode like that, it doesn't matter who you are, whether you've loved them your whole life, or they won't come to you. They're scared of everything, cars, people, other animals, everything. So the best bet for us was to use our other dog, Cooper, and walk around all the woods and put our scent out there. Like, she's part bloodhound, so we were hoping she would come out and smell us.
That is so true, because when our dogs got lost, they crossed the creek and lost their scent home. So our daughter went out with like an old blanket and rubbed it all over trees and stuff all along the banks of the creek, and had brought it back home so they could find their way home.
Yep.
Yes.
So we were hoping to use her bloodhoundness to our advantage, and it took a little bit, but obviously she eventually came home. But everything that Stephanie taught us, she's just does this in her free time. She basically just said, pay it forward. So basically what we learned is to take our other dog out there, her blankets, our stuff, our clothes and things like that, like wet cat food, nasty smelling stuff to kind of get her to come to different areas. But we needed people to spot her, which is what definitely kind of started us narrowing down exactly where
And
she
that's
was.
our own Mike Collins spotted her, and he responded, I guess. Now, what is this Paul Boost Alert? Is that on Facebook or?
Yeah, that was another, it's kind of like an Amber Alert, but for dogs. I think it's Maryland, but one of our other friends actually created that, and that got shared another 500 times, but to a more broad scale. And it was basically just like a red bannered picture of her, trying to get her to just get her face out there, get her like collar out there, so that if anybody saw her, they could contact us. And I think it was Tuesday, after we saw Stephanie in the dog tracker, she didn't pick up any like solid scents or anything with her dog, so we just set out the nasty smelling food and just kept walking our dog. Our other dog is pretty lazy, so he got a pretty good workout through this step. But
now, Bryant, do you usually have the dog on the leash? Are you usually the one who walks the dog, or you take turns?
I walk the other dog.
Right.
The other dog is much bigger and might pull her around a little bit. She's just a tiny thing, so this is her dog.
So you were walking the other dog. What's the other dog's name?
Cooper.
Cooper. You were walking Cooper, and you were both walking around, looking and looking. Did Cooper actually spot Cece, or?
I believe Cooper knew where she was. Actually, one of the sightings we were at was at Cecil College, which ironically she works.
That's where I work.
She works there.
How about that?
And the baseball coach had spotted our dog underneath a tree, just watching him rake the field after baseball practice. Of course, like Mike found out, as soon as he were to go to try to get her, she would run.
Right.
But at this point in time, it was later on. I think she was ready to be found because she came back. As he was raking the field again, she came back, and that's when we got the phone call. It's pretty ironic how she went to her work.
She was in that same patch of woods that's by Warburton is the same that comes up behind the college, and she was spotted around Cece, who was also another woman that we met who was helping us find Cece. She's off of Bouchelle Road. She spotted her around 12:30ish. Then she was spotted at the Cecil College Nature Trail behind the college around 2:30. And then I got the other phone call that she was down by the baseball field around 7:30, 7:45. And Stephanie, the dog tracker, also helped us. We put trail cameras up, put food out, again, her blankets, stuff that smelled like us.
We can't thank the community enough because we had so many phone calls of sightings of Cece. And, again, pretty ironic, Cece called us about a dog that was in her driveway, and she really helped us out a lot.
And they were more than accommodating for us to walk through their woods. I said, "Are you sure you don't mind us going through?" And they didn't care at all. And at the end of everything, we were stationed on, I guess, the east side of the woods, and his mother-in-law was on the west side. And I think when she was seen at Cecil College, the baseball coach thought that someone was lost in the woods and their dog kept coming out.
Right.
So he went out there on the gator, and I think it chased her out to the other side where his mother-in-law was waiting, and around 4 a.m. she showed up on the farmer's porch and she was ready to be found.
My parents actually ended up knowing the farmer, but they invited my mom up on the porch, and they talked a little bit, and then the farmer was going to show her around the farm. So my mom being on the front porch and throughout his field that night, we truly believe actually led her to his front porch. And when he got up for work at 4 a.m., she was on the front porch, and he opened the door and she went inside.
Awesome.
So she had kind of snapped, I guess, out of her. She was ready to be found, and she's a very people-oriented dog to begin with. So I think she just was ready to be inside, and this is her normal self.
Yeah, it looks like
pretty,
she's
pretty lazy.
Experience that needs a little bit of a dog nap.
Oh yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
She slept for about 2 days. Once we got her back on Wednesday, we actually took her back down to the beach with us because we
Nice.
felt she needed to be with us. So she loves the water and the ocean. So she got other than a couple bumps and bruises, and she was hungry. She was okay.
Had to put some booties on her paws
Right.
from her rubs, but they were just like balloons. Put blue balloons on her paws, and she was able to get on the beach with us and
Enjoy a couple days.
She enjoyed a little bit of it.
All right. This is a great story with a happy ending. These are the cameras that people use to maybe track the dog. We use technology with Facebook and the Paul Boost Alert. But mainly I think it's the goodwill and community spirit and everybody helping out that really made this a story
Absolutely.
with a happy ending.
For
I'm
sure.
glad for you guys.
Yes.
We
Thank
all
you.
are.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
and
you.
I can't, like I said, we can't be thankful enough for the community. It was great.
Thanks, Cecil County and the world.